Good day, Esla. We already gave the news before, and the market reacted, so now we're just waiting for the news. Should you open a position before the news? If we already have a position open, which we do, my Bitcoin position is still open, my long position is still open. I said I took some profit up there, and after that, I haven't done anything with the positions. Well, if you took profit, good for you. If you didn't, are you stressing out some people now? If you didn't take profit, I would be stressed about my Solana positions too, unless, let me show you what's happened now. I've explained this before, what we do in these situations. This is an advanced mode, okay? But I think we should open a position anyway, even if in the end we're going to get stopped out when the news actually drops. Right at the moment the news comes out, maybe, just maybe, we'll see a red candle first in the currencies, let's say. We're live at 9 o'clock on Forexity Pro. If you want, come join us there. Saman and I will definitely be live. Depending on how I feel, I might be there or not. But Saman will definitely be there, and he'll also do chart analysis for you. He'll tell you the news results, and he'll also share Powell's comments with you. These guys are at the Blockchain Life event, so that's why they're not here, and honestly, it's not bad to be in this market environment. Just keep one position open. Now, to avoid getting stopped out by the volatility during the news, your stop needs to be a bit wider. What does that mean? For example, let's say, don't set your stop so tight that a 15-minute or 30-minute wick from the news knocks you out. Just set a stop with a certain percentage for yourself, just so you have one open position during the news. If the price suddenly spikes up here, at least you'll have one position open. Let me explain SOL to you. I've explained it before, but I'll go over it again. Let's see. Before this, the point was that I didn't get stopped out. Why did I show you? Didn't I open a position on XBL here? Man, it got stopped out. Okay, look, I opened XBL SOL with Bitcoin just now, right here, to show you. This friend's position also got stopped out. There were two entry averages. One entry average was at this level, and another entry average was at this level. My entry point basically landed here. Around 11:14, this move, this resistance that broke here, I set my stop. The entry point was here, and the stop was here. Now let's go into that SOL. I have to show you those so that some people don't start talking nonsense. People start talking as soon as something happens. Here, you enter on the retrace. On this candle, the stop is here, and then as the price starts moving, you enter on the retrace. At this point, I closed half of my position so that later I could double the size of my stop. It was related. I closed half of my position, closed half the size of my position. Now, if I double the stop size, when it comes and hits this stop, I'll only lose 25% at risk. That's it. Why did I do this? Because I thought selling was in an interesting space. It was in a cool zone, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to take the hit. I wanted my position to be open before the news came out. Why don't I tell you this? Because this isn't something I would teach you in Bitcoin training for you to just follow and do. This is something you either backtested yourself, did the work, tested it, and then you either do it or you don't. It's not like risk management where I can tell you to definitely do it. Even in this leverage, I don't know. Here, it's about whether the decision is right or wrong. My loss is the same, the amount of my loss is the same, but I set my own level a bit further back for opening a short position. So now, in Solana, if this support breaks 192.35, I can't open a short position yet. I have to wait for it to first break 193.26. I can't open a short position yet, and I have to wait for it to come and break the main level first. Let me explain this to you again as part of your training. But when we open a position, $100 at this entry point, and my stop is here. If it comes down and hits the stop here, we lose $2 at this point. When the price comes to, say, Any point, it doesn't matter where, you close 50% of your position, for example. Now your position size is $50 and your stop at that previous point is $1. If it comes and hits the stop, you lose that $1. You can double your stop so that you end up losing the same $2 again. Well, this way your profit doesn't decrease. Why? What's the point? I said your position stays open, so if the market makes a sharp move because of some news or an event, you won't miss out on that move. It's not like before. For example, if you analyze Bitcoin, the day is already in the comments, and it was a precise breakdown. You are all very kind. Thank you all so much, really. I read every single comment and replied. Believe me, it's really hard. When you come and do something, you make plans, because I said there that after the bull run, I'll probably post a little less about Bitcoin. Let's do something about every topic. As long as I feel it's useful and you all like it, I'll keep posting every day so you can keep learning. Don't go. Okay, but how do I know that? From your engagement. I mean, for example, the number of likes you give, the comments you leave, the questions you ask, answering other people's questions, or like, if I post a video and say, hey, check this out, follow up on it. You actually do it, because someone took the time and effort to make it. The fun is there when that vibe exists. Otherwise, I won't post every day if that vibe isn't there. I'll just move on with my own path and my own work. This is a deal between you and me, okay? But honestly, I've become a bit more defensive and bold. I've also recently heard some new things. People have come and I've learned to be more defensive myself. They want to sell packages. Let me think. Let me put it in a package. Say think. Let me put it in a package. Say black. That's your question. All right, let's get to the 4-month update. In 2 days and 18 hours, the news about the rate is supposed to come out. It's also the end of the month, and we're going to have some really volatile days. Like, seriously. I mean, don't increase your risk above 25% in my opinion. We're going to have some really volatile days. Now, it's possible there won't be any volatility at all, but based on past end-of-month experiences, we've actually had a lot of volatility. Be careful, don't increase your risk too much. This weekly candle is very reasonable. There's been so much selling pressure. There was just one green candle, that's it. Some important news is coming at the end of the month. The market is standing still, waiting, and there's no volume at all. That means people aren't opening positions, not even on the daily chart, at the most important and strongest resistance in this area. It's even stronger than this previous resistance. Why do I say that? Look at the price here. If it moves to this level again, I really don't think it'll get stuck at 120. You've already cleared it out once here, and cleared it out once there. Here, the sellers themselves came in, and again, they've run out of steam. It's not that strong here anymore, but this level is really solid. This is the point where the price hit and dropped. I want to talk a bit about what I discussed yesterday and the day before. For now, it's reached this point. I'm talking about the day before yesterday. For now, it's reached the point where opening a position here makes the risk very high, as they say. Next, there's an important level here that the market has to react to. Well, it did show a reaction to it. If in the next wave we see an increase in volume or a breakout, then they're probably aiming for the next target. We can open a long position here, as long as we're above this 12,000 level. The conditions are okay, the correction is fine, it's logical, and there's no problem with it. I personally won't take a short position as long as we're above this level. I'm just saying this for you to remember. I'm telling you this so you remember it. If I wanted to recap, I made the right decisions, like not having a long position here. Let's close it. Also, as I said here, the increase in volume, look at the candles. The green candles are getting weaker. I was supposed to record a video about this today to help you recognize psychological strength with candles. In the strategy, it was necessary for this issue to be resolved once and for all. Man, if it's moving upward and you also engulfed it. Well, if they're not getting stronger, why isn't your size increasing? Why aren't you getting more volume? And this isn't a setup candle either. This week's candle should have passed below, through the body. This isn't a setup candle that you should be relying on. Even if you open a position here, even if you had already opened a position, it would have at least given you a risk to reward. At least there should have been a risk to reward, but this isn't a setup candle. For example, let's talk about two things that we discussed the day before. Let me tell you about before as well. Man, make sure you always set your stops here, especially for Iranian friends. Always set your stops here. Don't be in this level without a position. If you didn't get in with us earlier at the lower level, set your stop here. These were the things we've been talking about these past few days. On the 4-hour chart, this trend is strong. You can see it's all one move, not just one or two waves. On the 4-hour chart, this whole thing is a downward wave. How much of a percentage? Has it even given anything? It hasn't even given 50% yet. It's close to 50%. But based on the way I draw Fibonacci, our trend has turned bullish here. In this red candle, our trend has started a corrective move. It's at 38%. How do you draw the actual amount that's been given? I take my Fibonacci retracement levels again from the trend reversal points. I'm not talking about the lower and upper wicks. I've gotten better results from this method, and this instructor got better results from it too. Well, this correction makes sense right now on the next leg, and we're currently waiting to see if the next leg will start or not. At the moment, we're waiting for this to happen. On the 1-hour chart, now, this move here is its smaller scale, this one. This is its smaller scale, you see? We came here and dropped sharply, and on the 15-minute chart, we tried to make an upward move. They tried to profit, do whatever they wanted, but when they hit this point, it dropped again. Now, the thing is, this wave that dropped on the 15-minute chart is much weaker compared to this one, and that makes sense too. We've stopped at a very important support level on Matavi, and there's also important news coming out today. I don't think this move will continue much longer. This move. Let's go further. Because here we have a proper range forming, I think it's more for this reason. Who else is triggering this label for entry? Should we set a buy stop? Let the others do it. Their win rate is low. I would set it myself. No, I already have an open position. If I didn't have this open position, yes, I would set a buy order. If I didn't have this open position, I would set a buy order. With what kind of big account? When the news hits, that 1% can turn into 90%, so it's better to be cautious than to lose even that 1%. But it's better than that 3% at this level. It's better, more logical. What about a short position? Honestly, before the news, since there's a 90%, actually a 98% chance it'll drop, I don't open a short position. Now, if the market wants to react the opposite way, let it. That's up to the market. It happens. At 109, it does something, or it just drops sharply to 106. It does something here. Then later, that's when you should go for the biggest short, not now. I don't touch it right now. Someone? Honestly, first, it's about their strength. Strength, well, total strength. It's the same there too, a trend, a correction, an important level. That 3.91 is still there, but honestly, it's just a confirmation for total. It's not useful for that. Total 3's confirmation isn't useful for that. Total 2's confirmation isn't useful for that. And here, it's not useful for that either. Right now, the market is really focused on Bitcoin itself, And in altcoins, the focus is very limited. So for now, these total and total 2 charts aren't really useful for us. It just gives a perspective that Bitcoin itself is already giving us. We've reached these important correction points. Now let's see what happens next. We've come to these key levels mainly because of corrections, so let's see what happens next. It's the same with total. They're all the same. BTC.D is also still ranging in this box. It's going to keep ranging for years and years. If it gets out of this range sooner, it won't let Bitcoin keep ranging. When Bitcoin is sitting on really weak support. We hope this happens when Bitcoin is below resistance. If this happens, it means Bitcoin's range is below our level. If this happens, altcoins will break their resistance levels. They'll go up point by point, give some profit, then come back for a correction, then break the next level, give some more profit, and come back for another correction. Write this down. Write down this sentence I just said on a piece of paper and keep it in your pocket. So you can read it later when the time comes and remember it. Okay? When Bitcoin dominance and gold start ranging and Bitcoin is under resistance, altcoins will move one after another. All you need to do is check the Bitcoin pair chart to see which one is next. That's all you have to do. Now, for this Bitcoin dominance, where's the most logical and safest place before the news? Should we put it in Bitcoin? For now, at the beginning, around the time of the news, this dominance might not be as good as some others. That means this Bitcoin position might not be a good one. Maybe, for example, it would be better to go, I don't know, maybe open a position on XRP and say, okay, I'll open this one here on XRP. If I open this 2.6633 for a long position, I know I should open 2.6736. Is it clear for a long position? Let me see now. Actually, the situation for XRP/BTC on the lower time frame isn't bad at all. Is it really good enough that I can say, yeah, I'll set the stop for Bitcoin? Even though I'm right 25% of the time, it doesn't mean we shouldn't take risks. You actually need to take more risk. So the solution is to risk 0.5%, open a $250 position on an altcoin, and open another $250 position on Bitcoin. If you don't want to take that much risk, I think you shouldn't open an altcoin position. Maybe Bitcoin will move, but Bitcoin is still Bitcoin. Anyway, it's Bitcoin. If dominance breaks 59.54, we'll focus more on altcoins. If it hits 60, we'll shift our focus to altcoins and go for it. You gave the signal up to that point. The range we mentioned, up to year, the correction is fine. It's come down to around 92. From here on, any further drop isn't really a correction anymore. At this point, even on the 1-hour chart, you can't really call this move a correction anymore. Well, because it's so sharp, the only way to handle it when it's like this is for it to drop back down just as sharply. That's why we keep tracking our stop losses. If, for example, today there wasn't any news about the interest rate going down, would we have opened a short position with this kind of move? Why would we? We'd only open a short if the chart structure called for it. This news is really important, and Powell's statement makes it even more significant. They'll probably cut it one more time this year, right? Yeah, there's one more meeting left, so they'll probably cut it one more time besides this one. Is there any confirmation? For example, for USC.D, if you want to open a position hoping for a second candle, is there any confirmation for that? If you want to position, there's no confirmation to open a line. You don't know unless we build the range again. We have to want to become a box. I'll put Urshad Sports Strategy Part 3 for you in the comments. Guys, it's about support, resistance, and chart patterns, how to use them to determine the trend direction. I'm not saying you should just draw a double top and be like, haha, let's take this position. No, not at all. Have you ever seen me use patterns like that? Have you ever seen me say, hey, there's a head and shoulders here, so let's open a position and set the target at this much? Let me mention this too. Hey, there's a head and shoulders here. The point is, this one was weaker and couldn't reach here, so the sellers at this level are stronger. So, if we see an increase in volume here during this wave, we can go in, because there's some support forming here. Should we open it up again? I already explained about this in patterns in detail, about their inner nature and the main way people should use patterns. And I explained about it, and you already know all the information yourself, how to set it up. The main point is really just 4 patterns that you should go through. Even if you don't know all the information completely, I already explained it once, and the comments will help you out. This BTC and ETH stuff is still on this channel. It's just live and ongoing. By the way, you've been sitting in a 5% box for 40 days now, a 5% box for 40 days. If I do the same thing on Ethereum and Bitcoin, that's almost annualized. For example, it gives around 56%. It gives 56, 57%, things like that. If I'm not mistaken, and if I don't mess with the volume and all that, but based on experience, I'm telling you the number ETH/USDT. So, how much work do you have left? There's both VIP and retreating, and also the rest of the tutorials. I still need to start the moving averages. We finished these moving averages after the bull run, if we had them. Whenever I get confirmation, I'll start the technical analysis tutorials. Dear Master Jirashi, it's all about introducing 4 or 5 new concepts, summarizing, and organizing your mind. It has new training, but it doesn't introduce a new concept like what is a moving average. So what do we have from that? For example, I want to make a video about something I like. The richest person in the history of the planet. There are a lot of stories, even in Iran, about taking breaks. You and me, Dad. We built a life. We bought ourselves time to think about Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum, even at this level, performed better than expected. Cheers to that, Ethereum dropped even more. The way it happens, some say it's Islamic, but it's not Islamic at all. A rejection can come from anywhere. It hits a rejection point, and a proper rejection should be deep. It should come down to 4,000. It could trigger a move before the news comes out. If it suddenly goes up now, what does that mean? Nothing. Just wait until it hits a rejection point and forms a higher low for you on the 15-minute chart. If it forms that for you on the 1-hour chart, even better. Really, that's even better. Still, keep an Ethereum position open. If it tries to break 4,757 and you don't have at least one position, you should enter on the next move. Next week, still keep an open position on Ethereum. I've got one open position myself. It's close to my entry point. Look, I'm not touching it. This one's separate. It's a position where I don't even care about the profit. As long as it's below 4,757, I don't care about the loss either. I'll take the hit up to 45 times if I have to. This position was actually opened as the first position. What's that thing about holding back? What is it? I saw a few people get upset about it, but that's not what I'm talking about. I even made a video just for them. I told you what their deal is, right? I opened a new position so others could join in too. At this point, it's out of my hands. I can't do anything else. I'm just holding onto this one position here. No matter what excuse comes up, I'll say it again. I won't take profit. I won't touch it. I won't do anything with it. Even if it comes down here and hits the floor, or even if it sets a new low, and then wants to go up to 44,000, it would only be useful if you just set a stop and let it go. By the way, today at 9 o'clock we have a live session on Forexity Pro. I'll announce it on Telegram and Instagram. I'll share the link so everyone can join. We'll chat, laugh, mess with Saman a bit, and analyze some charts together. Let's check out what's going on with gold. Let's see how gold compares to Bitcoin. Then, let's see what Bitcoin itself looks like. What kind of entry triggers does it give? Let's talk about its movement before and after the news, discuss the trend, and go over Powell's comments. Stick around, it'll be fun. As for the next topic, I think you should open a position before the news. Do you already have an open position? If so, don't do anything, just watch. Take it easy today, relax a bit, maybe have some snacks while you're on break. Just do something for yourself. Don't expect any major conclusions right now, because the market still needs to form a structure on the lower time frames. For example, it would have been better if I had done my analysis at, I don't know, maybe 2 p.m., so that 2 4-hour candles or 1.5 4-hour candles would have already passed. Right? Honestly, it would have been better to do it then. I'm also thinking about whether I should wait from now on. Let me know in the comments, should I wait until the structure is formed and then do the analysis or not? It might happen one day at 4 in the afternoon, or maybe at 5. It might happen in the morning, or maybe not at all that day, because the structure hasn't started forming yet. Have a good night.